Hey everybody, good morning everybody. Workman here, Big V. Great to see you all on the call and welcome to today's call. We have a lot of people registered for today's call and I'm excited that you're all going to be here. I'm looking to share my video so you can see my smiling face. Let me see if I can turn my video on. Let's see. It says it's there, but the lights aren't on. Well, we'll see if that ends up coming on. I just want to welcome you and thank you all for joining me on today's call. We'll see if Chet can get this figured out. You know, there's a lot of amazing things that happens when we really focus on our database and we focus on creating the ultimate client experience. And as we work on creating the ultimate client experience, I'll have to tell you that I've learned that as we track what's going on in the businesses of the teams that we train and coach and support, what I've learned is that there's a much higher level of income and a much higher level of profitability when we work our database at a whole different level. Meaning there's a lot of good programs out there that teach you that you should call through your past clients, you should call through your database, but when you really understand the power and the dollars that are involved or that are available to you, if you maximize your most important technology, your database, you realize that we don't have to work that hard. I think it's crazy, and I really mean that. I think it's crazy as individuals that we spend an enormous amount of time, we spend an enormous amount of money focusing on strangers. We buy Zillow leads and Boomtown leads and Commissions Inc. and Zoom and not Zoom and Chime. We do Realtor.com and Homes.com. We do call capture systems. We knock doors, all with the purpose of hoping that we can just capture one more client. The whole goal is to hunt and to go out there and find new people. And while we're spending all that time and all those resources and all that effort trying to find somebody new, if all we did is pick up the phone and talk to somebody that already likes us, we would have a much greater experience in our day. We would actually leave the day fulfilled with new referral business and new clients that like us, and it would be a lot less brain stress. And so what I want to do today is I want to share with you how to maximize not just your database, but a very important segment within your database. And I want to show you how you can close as many as 86 transactions a year working with just 50 people 1 hour a day. Now, I'm also going to encourage you that if you look at your Zoom video, I guess you call it a dashboard, you're going to see that there's a place that you can ask questions. And I want to encourage you today to make this call be an interactive call. So instead of it just being a talking head where Verl is just, teaching and training and sharing with you ideas, I want you to be able to ask questions, to challenge me a little bit on a concept, to push the envelope, if you will, so that you leave here today feeling like the hour that we spend together was of really high value. Now, I'll tell you that the reason I do these monthly webinars is because it's really twofold. One is there's a whole bunch of clients that we have that we coach, and I want to make sure that I'm constantly sharing ideas and wisdom, and they get some Verl love. I want to make sure that our clients are staying connected to us as a company and to me as a CEO. The second thing that I always want to accomplish is I want to be able to create opportunities for those of you who feel like there might be another level that you could be performing at in your business to reach out to us and say, hey, I'd like some help. And we'll do a free coaching consult where you'll get to meet with one of my business consultants. They'll do a kind of a deep dive into your business, see where you are, and then take you through the process of what it might be like to coach or have one of Workman Success's full-time high-level coaches. And so those are our goals, number one. And then the third goal is to deliver content and an experience that you can actually leave here with and do something with. Whether you are a coaching client or not, I want you to say that I got something of value, I've got the resources, the tools I need, and now I just need to go out there and go. And so how you get from small screen to full screen is because I'm sharing my screen, you're not going to see my big Verl full size, but Chet will help you answer those questions. Okay, so hopefully you all know what to do. At the end of the webinar today, I'm going to give you a landing page, and on that landing page, I'm going to give you some free stuff, including an ebook. I'm going to give you a special deal on a CRM. I'm going to give you the ability to take a special assessment and then an opportunity where you can sign up for a business or a coaching consult. So stay with me until the very end. So I want to begin by first talking to you about the value of a client and how much a client is really worth to us in our real estate business. You know, for years I've been teaching CRMs. I can take you into Top Producer and I can show you how to make $1 million a year with that tool. I can take you into Realty Juggler and I can show you how to set it up so you can make $1 million a year. I can go into Wise Agent and I can help you set that up. We can have a really high level team CRM like a RealVolve, and I can show you how to make $1 million a year with that CRM. And so the technology that you use, the system that you buy, is not as important as the understanding of what to do with that system. And so there are multiple CRMs that you can use. Some are going to be better than others. Some have limitations, and some don't work very well at all. But the best thing, or the most important thing for you to understand is that it's the thought process you go through and asking the questions of what do I want to accomplish with my CRM to have a high level of execution. And so the most important technology that you own in your business is your database. It's not your phone, it's not your car, it's your database. Your database is a cash cow. The average person knows over 200 people well, which means they have 200 people in their database. They base this number on the number of people you invite to your weddings or show up at your funerals. So if there's 200 people in your database, and I mean, even if you're not that good at it, if all you did is call through them 4 or 5 times a year, you're going to fall into some business that you wouldn't normally get. So you don't even have to be great at working your database in order to have success with it. You just have to do something rather than nothing and decide that that's important to you. So the most important piece of technology you own is what? It's your database. Now you have your database. What are you going to do with it? So I'm going to share with you a concept of taking a segment out of that database, identifying who they are, and then I'm going to give you a roadmap on having a high level of execution with that group. So let me go in and I'm going to open up this. Let me share my screen with you. So this is a program or a system called 8651. And the concept behind the program is to learn how to close 86 transactions a year working with 50 people 1 hour a day. Now, is there anybody on this call that would not personally benefit significantly by closing an additional 86 deals in 2018? Are y'all into that? I mean, y'all have a pretty high level of enthusiasm around the concept? Okay, so the first thing I want you to do, now, by the way, this is an ebook, and I'm going to take you through it, and I'm going to teach you, but I wrote this a few years ago with Mike Parker, and Mike Parker is a high producer out of I want to say Louisville, Kentucky, out of the, #1 agent in the Kentucky Association of Realtors. He's an unbelievable performer. He has a great business and a great team, and then we've additionally added content to this with the amazing Terry Murphy, who, if you don't know Terry Murphy, was homeless and living in her car and then became a top 100 agent listing and selling over 100 houses a year by herself in Chicago, and now is one of the premier real estate speakers in the country. And so she's taken the concept of what we did in 8651 and she's actually created some action plans to it. And so first I want you to understand that relationships are everything, and it's about developing and creating relationships. It's not about names in your database, but it's how many of those people know you and how do you stay at the front of the mind of the key group of these people. I like to teach a concept called BRT, which stands for building relationships with trust, and that our job as real estate agent is not selling houses, but it's developing relationships. And the better you are at developing relationships, the opportunities to sell more homes are going to present themselves. But if you don't do a good job of developing relationships, then the opportunities are not going to be there for you. So introduce the concept to BRT. In the ebook, I break down and I give you more details on how we do that. I also want you to recognize the fact that as we develop relationships, we also have to recognize the fact that we are in sales. I don't know how many of you actually got up this morning and you got in the shower and you got ready to go to the office and you said, it's going to be a great day. You know why? Because I am in sales. I'm a salesperson and I love sales. I eat, drink, and sleep sales. I want to get up and I want to sell some stuff today. If you didn't wake up with that attitude, you probably woke up with the attitude that you're doing something else like service. Well, guess what? You don't have anyone to provide great services to if you don't have the ability to close. Now, we don't talk people into buying or selling houses. We don't talk people into things they don't want. What we sell is we sell ourselves. And so the most important, most critical thing that we sell is whether or not they should use us. So I want you to think about that. All right, so let's think about that. What do we sell? We sell ourselves. We are in sales. Oh, yeah, I'm going to give you a landing page at the end where you'll be able to get a copy of that ebook. So what we sell is ourselves, and what we sell is the ability for people to be able to get whatever it is they want out of their life by engaging with us. So we sell ourselves. And so I want you to be excited that you get to be in sales. When someone says, what do? You should answer with, I'm in sales. And when they say, what do you sell? You say, what do you need? And then have a little bit of fun with it. What do you sell? What do you need? I have everything. Come out into my car. I have watches, car phones. I have perfume. You know, we have this icky feeling that we get when we feel like we're being sold something. And real estate is very different because we're not manipulating people. We're not talking about things that we don't want, but we are in sales. And I believe that at the center of the sales pyramid, there's 3 letters, and those letters are BRT. And that means to build relationships with trust. If you want to build relationships with trust, you have to be genuinely interested in the people you're talking to. In your database, in this concept called 8651, I am going to share with you what to do to build deeper, more meaningful relationships. And I'm going to give you a roadmap to be able to do it. But it all begins with the understanding that what? We're in sales. All right, so we're in sales. So the next thing I want you to know is that there's a ton of resources available to you in the ebook and also with links in a training center that I'm going to give you. So when you understand the value of a client, now what this does is this page, if you go to page 10 in the ebook, which I'll give you to everybody, is I take you through how much is a client worth. When you're done going through the value of a client, the minimum value of a client to you in your real estate database is about $45,000. So when you understand the value of a client, and I'm talking about the lifetime value of a client, if you understand that that client's worth $45,000, I would challenge to ask each of you. Matter of fact, I want you to go into your Q&A. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you all to answer this in the Q&A. So see my screen is blank right here. I want you to go in the Q&A. I'm going to say, I want you to answer this question. How many transactions a year do you believe you lose by not doing a very good job following up with people in your database? Go into the answers, and I just want you to type your answers at 1, 5, 10. Wow. I love this. 15, 5, 30, 4, 20 to 30, 86. 5, 10, 10, 20, 15, 20, 15. Love the interaction. So we have lots of responses on here. Okay, so now I want you to take whatever number you wrote down, and I want you to times it by $45,000 and tell me what your number is. So take whatever number you wrote down. So Judy wrote down 2, so her number would be $90,000. Yep, and just type them in for me. Type in your number, 90,000. Wow, Tony, 675,000. Luis, 450,000. 225,000, 450, 675. I'm just reading the numbers, 360, 450, 4.2 million, 900,000, 675,000, over 3 million. Okay, guys, I want you 1.8 million. OMG. I love that you wrote that, Rosanna. I love the energy around that. 1.3 million. Guys, when you write this number down, I want you to find something. I want you to find like a big sheet of paper. So if I were to have a big sheet of paper right here, let me see if I have a pen or a marker. This will work. And whatever your number is, I want you to write it down on a big sheet of paper. So if your number was, you know, Randy, okay, I'm going to use Rosanna's. Rosanna wrote down $1.8 million, just like that. Now on top of your sign, I want you to write 2 words. Are you ready for the words? This isn't money that you might make if you solve the problem. This is money that you're currently losing. So I want you to write down with your Sharpie on your sheet of paper, lost income. So I want you to take whatever your number is. I want you to find a blank sheet of paper. I want you to write on it 1.8 million, write the words lost income. I want you to go hand it to your spouse and apologize for not bringing that money home to the family, because you're letting your family down, you're letting your clients down, you're letting your children down, you're letting your parents down, you're letting all of the charities that you would donate to down, because you're not doing the basic minimum fundamental things that will make the greatest impact on your business, and that's taking care of your database. Is that painful? Here's what I've learned, is that pain is a much greater motivator than the anticipation of pleasure. And that I can give you all of the systems and the tools and say, if you just do this system, you might sell one more thing. But until you realize that you're currently losing an enormous amount of income that would change the outcome of your family's financial resources, whether it be retirement or private schools, or just not having stress in your marriage because you're fighting over money, when you realize that the opportunity is right here in your database and all we have to do is turn it on, when you realize that it's lost income and that you feel the pain, my job as your coach today is to put my finger in the pain and push on it. I want you to feel it. Is anybody feeling it? Because if you're feeling it, then that's where change begins to happen. So when you start to feel it, change happens. And when you feel the pain and you recognize that you're letting your family down because you're not doing the basic fundamentals, when you get up every day, you attack the day differently because you know there's a solution to the problem. And we can make the pain go away. I love the comments. Yep, ouch, that'll do it. All right. So now that we've done the pain, would you like me to give you a Band-Aid? I don't want to give you a Band-Aid. I want to give you a real solution. Eric Allenbaugh, one of my favorite authors, wrote a book, and the book is called Wake Up Calls. And in his book, Wake Up Calls, he talks about Americans as a society. And I'm going to say North Americans because my Canadian friends are very much like us, probably and oftentimes much happier. Why is it that as a culture, we step up in adversity? When we have a 9/11, we get really serious about homeland security and, terrorist control and, all the things that are happening there. Why is it that we have to go through a divorce before we get serious about focusing on our relationships? Why is it we need to have a heart attack before we get serious about exercise and changing our diets? I saw my brother-in-law the other night, and he's lost 50 pounds. I'm like, Randy, you look amazing. What are you doing? He said, oh, I got diabetes. For 60 years, he's had bad eating habits. I never see him without a Diet Coke and a bag of M&Ms. And so he's always doing things that mess with his blood sugar until finally it's caused a problem where he's got type 2 diabetes. And his doctor says you're going to die if you don't stop having a mass level of sugar intake and you get a handle on your diet. To Randy, that was a wake-up call. And now, because the wake-up call is there and we've had to go through a catastrophic event in our life, now we're going to take action. What if I told you that the magic pill or the secret to success in your business or in your life is to take massive action before the catastrophic event occurs? And that the difference between the average and the exceptional is the exceptional recognize potential pitfalls and they take actions to avoid them before the catastrophic event. Today, I hope for all of you is a wake-up call. The catastrophic event is already happening, and that is that there's all this money in your database and your clients are choosing to do business with somebody else because you're too lazy, or you don't know what to do, or you're too afraid, or you have a fear that they might not like you anymore because you called them. And so instead you do nothing and they just go do business with someone else. And then you get mad at them because they knew you were a realtor and they choose to do business with someone else. Has anybody had that emotion where they have someone they thought knew they were a good realtor and they went and did business with somebody else? And you are mad at them. Well, here's the next thing I want you to do. I want you to, instead of being mad at them, I want you to look inside for accountability instead of outside for excuses. Instead of saying, why are you such idiots? I want you to say, what could I have done differently? Instead of saying, why didn't you call me? Apologize to them for saying, I am so sorry I wasn't there when you needed me, and I didn't let you know I was interested to make sure that I would take care of you, that you would know that I could take care of you and your family better than anybody else on the planet. I want you to look internally for accountability. Accountability is not something that a coach does to you. Accountability is something that a coach teaches you to have for yourself. You know you're a great parent when you teach your children to make right choices when you're not there. I know I'm a great coach when I teach you as a student to make right choices when I'm not there. Accountability is something that comes, it happens internally. It's not something someone does to you. Okay, so, here we are. I found the pain. We've got money going out. I put my finger in it and I showed you where the problem is. It's not somebody else's problem. Whose problem is it? Who owns the fact that the business is going out of their database because they're not doing the job? Who owns that? I need to know if you own it. There you go, Robert. Robert owns it. Stephanie owns it. Michael owns it. There you go. James owns it. Amy owns it. There we go. You know, we've got 300 plus people on the call, and we've got about 50 people that are owning it. I think everyone's coming in. There we go. Now we're raising hands. Okay, I love it. I got lots of hands being raised. You own it. Okay. For those of you not owning it, I probably can't help you. When you see a problem and you own it as your problem, those are the first two steps of having life-changing, life-altering effects on your business. And so now all of a sudden we have people that own it. Ben says, well, I just might as well own it. I love that, Ben. That's a great response. You might as well own it. Pain is a greater motivator than the anticipation of pleasure. Eric Allenbaugh says we have a wake-up call. I am encouraging today to be your wake-up call and say, let's get it, and now let's go to work. Now we own it. Now we got to solve it. And the way we solve it is we put systems in place so that nobody ever falls through the cracks again. We want to solve it with systems, and we want to solve it with activity, and then we just want to go. And when you do that, that's when you start seeing things at a much higher level. So whether you're using Top Producer or whatever, I'm going to talk about Top Producer today. I would say that about 80% of our top clients use Top Producer in their business, and I'm a fan of Top Producer. I kind of went through a process where I liked Top Producer, and then I hated Top Producer, and then I liked him again, and then I tolerated him, and now I really have a high level of like for him again. So I've gone through the same emotional roller coaster you have. Most of the people don't like Top Producer, have never really used it. They bought it and they didn't use it, and so they hate the concept of paying for something they don't use. So what they should hate is their actions, not the software. Top Producer is going to be $35, $40 a month, and you can do everything I'm talking about doing in that program, and I'll show you some training that's available to you as well. And so first thing we have to do is we have to put systems in place. We have to put systems in place. You have to have a database that manages both people and property. In the ebook, I kind of break down the checklist of things that I want to have in your database and how we follow up with the different things, and then I give you some resources. But I want to get into what we're going to do with a very specific process of what I want you to do inside of Top Producer. Now, Troy, who says, I hate their canned campaigns and presentations. Troy, I'm going to give you a pass and say, good, so do I. And I don't care if you use any of theirs. How does that make you feel? So I don't care what you use. I just care that you do something rather than nothing. Because Troy, I'm going to ask you this. How much better are their canned campaigns that suck than the ones you currently don't send to your clients? Everything works, but nothing doesn't. So if you don't like theirs, they're way better than the ones you're currently not doing. So do something rather than nothing. And so, I don't really care if you like them either. I don't care if you ever use them. I've got other campaigns that we use, and we get a higher level of execution on the campaigns we use. They're written as placeholders or samples, most of them, to use when you don't know what to send. So I'll share with you other things. But the first thing I want you to do is I'm going to give you a pass. I'm going to tell you that as far as your database goes, if you have 200 plus people in your database, I'm going to tell you right now that you cannot work them effectively and do a good job with all 200. And so I'm going to say that your database consists of 200 people and that you should call through that entire database 4 times a year. And so you should, on a regularly scheduled basis, during the week of the 22nd of each month, so whatever week that the 22nd falls in, I want you to call through your database. And if you don't know who to call through, I want you to start with the A's, and then the B's, and then the C's. And I want you to call through your database 4 times a year. Now, what you say when you call through your database is I want you to simply say this. Hey, this is Burl. How you guys doing? I just want to make sure I'm not dropping the ball. Are you still doing well in the home you're in? And then I want you to follow the Ford dialogue. Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, dreams. How's your family? How's your work? What are you doing for fun? And what's next for you? And what are you doing this summer? Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. What's your dream home? And then make sure they know that if they have anybody or real estate comes up, just to shoot you a text or an email, that you'll take good care of the clients. Family, occupation, recreation, dream. That's the Ford dialogue. Okay? So you're going to call through your database 4 times a year, all 200 of them. But then we're going to segment a special group. And this next group is a very special group, and I'm going to call it the top 50. And I want you to create a contact type called top 50. Now, we have, let me share something with you that's kind of cool. We have a training center called the Workman Success Systems Training Center. This is not real expensive. It's $99 a month. And there's no contract. You can subscribe to it, whatever, turn it on, turn it off. But in this program, there's a program called AMP. And in the Admin Mastery program, I can go into AMP. There are 66 sessions on creating operational excellence in your business. It includes setting up an operations manual, creating follow-up processes for everything. We get into client relationship managers, and we talk about how to set it up correctly. In the introduction of CRM, it's all built on the backbone of Top Producer. We go in and we do the value of a client, how to do your dashboard, setting it up correctly, adding new contacts, putting people in correctly, importing your contacts, and creating contact types. And so in the video on creating contact types, you're going to see that we give you a video where we actually show you, there's Terry Murphy, teaching you how to go in, how to create a contact type, and in the contact types, I want you to add the contact type called Top 50. And we teach you how to create custom contact types. And so that's in the training center. So I'm not doing Top Producer training. What I'm doing is saying, set up your contact type, okay? Once you have your contact type set up, called the Top 50, I want you to identify 50 people in your database. Now, these are the 50 people that are most likely to give you 1 referral a year. They could be past clients. They could be people in your church group. It could be your mother. You're only allowed to have 50. But I also want to make sure that you have 50. This isn't called, 2051. It's called 8651. It's how to close 86 transactions working with 50 people 1 hour a day. This group of 50, we are going to elevate. They are going to be different than the other people in your database. These are the 50 people that are most likely to give you 1 referral a year. I want you to have 1 personal touch with all 50 every single month. So every month, you have to have 1 personal touch with all 50 in your top 50 list. Let me define a personal touch. A personal touch is a phone call or a face-to-face, meaning we go out as couples. It could be your best friends. It could be someone that you're going to see at church on Sunday. But you make a specific point to have a personal touch with everybody in your top 50 once a month. So the first step is identify who they are. The second step is put them in your CRM as contact type called top 50. Whenever you have a personal touch, so if I pick up my cell phone and I'm calling through my top 50 and I have a personal touch with someone today, when I hang up the phone, I schedule the next call the following month, or the next get together, or let's do lunch, or whatever that's going to be. So we're going to have a personal touch once a month with everybody in the top 50. Got it? Now you've scheduled the next activity. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to go to Dave Beeson's website, davebeeson.com, and I want you to buy a series of letters called Letter Writer. Let's see, which one do I want you to buy? I'll show you a picture of them. I want you to buy a Letter Writer Platinum and Letter Writer Plus, and they're very inexpensive, and they have an auto install into Top Producer. So I want you to buy the letters because they have actual really good campaigns, and I want you to actually launch them. There's a series of letters called Gold Mine Referrals. And in the series of Gold Mine Referrals, it teaches your clients how to give you a referral. So you're going to call them once a month, you're going to send them a letter once a month, and then you're going to have a valuable interaction with them, okay? You launch Gold Mine Referrals. Now, on the second or third call, while you're talking to them, I want you to say to them, hey, Miriam, guess what? You are in my top 50. Congratulations. And they'll go, what does that mean? It means that I am counting on you for one referral this year. Now, I know everybody knows lots of realtors, but I need to be the one that you think of when someone brings up real estate. At the water cooler at the office, in your church group, in your networking groups, at your quilting club, on your baseball team, on the kids' soccer team, whatever it is, when real estate comes up, can I count on you to just give me one referral this year? Can I count on that for you? I mean, what are they going to say? Well, no. And then you respond with, but you're my mom. Have some fun with it. Have a little bit of fun with this. I need to count on you for one referral. So you're going to put them in a group. You're going to launch them on a plan called Gold Mine Referrals. You're going to let them know you're in the top 50 group. Now, this kind of goes to a whole nother level. When you launch the letters, you can also use something like send out cards to recognize them for birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. There's a great way to do that. There's a link in there for that. And then I want you to build for events. So we want to do 4 events a year where we invite our entire database, but I want you to do 1 event a year that is a special event for the people in your database that gave you one referral. It could be sushi night, could be wine and cheese tasting, it could be a backyard barbecue, but it's a special event for your top 50 people that sent you a minimum of 1 referral this year. So you're going to track it all throughout the year, and at the end of the year, if someone doesn't give you a referral, I want you to take them off your list and replace them with somebody else who will. And we're going to constantly refine this. We're going to constantly refine this top 50 list until we have a group of 50 people that are flat out giving you business. Now, I give you dialogue for this. You have to be committed to it to do it on a regular basis. I'm going to give you a couple of other activities that will happen. The next thing I want you to do, and this is kind of fun, I want you to go into Facebook, and I want you to open up your Facebook group. And if you're bigger on Instagram, you can do that, or Snapchat, whatever you want to do. I want you to open up your social media group that you use the most with your clients. If you're not using one, do it with Facebook. Set up a group called Top 50 and connect with all 50 of those people. Once you've connected with them, you can drag them into your group called Top 50. So now I've got a Facebook group called Top 50. Now, I want you to start listening and responding to anything they post. You don't even have to wax eloquent, meaning like nobody really cares if you listed another house or having an open house or that you walked your dog. I want you to know that as much as you think it's important, nobody cares. but what they do care about is themselves. And so, I mean, I care about you, but I'm just telling you that most of your people don't really care about you. They care about themselves. And so in this top 50 group, anytime somebody posts something, it will show you on Facebook that they posted something. I want you to go in every day and I want you to respond to their posts. I want you to respond to it with a thumbs up, a congratulations, a cute pic, whatever appropriate response is. I want them to know that you're paying attention to what's important to them, and that's themselves. And so every day, you spend less than 12 minutes a day in social media. I want you to go in and look at your top 50 group, and I want you to respond to anything they posted, and just do it. Okay, if I were to stop right now, and we were to wrap this webinar up, and all you did was call through your top 50 once a month, set up a Facebook group and respond to them, how many of you, by the raise of hands, believe that you would do more transactions in 2018 than you've ever done before? If all you did is this. Okay. Look at the hands. All the hands are going up. I love it. So, what are you going to do? This is where it's time to make a commitment. Troy says I would do a lot more than I've done in the last 3 years. All of the suggestions I'm making are going to be in this ebook called 8651, and I'm going to give it to you all. I'm going to give you a link that you can download it, so you can download it, okay? So here's your list. Create the 50 people, get them into your contact manager system, schedule a personal touch, put up your Facebook group, import the important dates and set them on a follow-up calendar, launch the referral letter in David Beeson's, teach them how to give you referrals, schedule for events. Now, a lot of agents feel like they would do this if, you know, they just had a more specific plan. And so Terry Murphy on her own took and created a top 50 monthly initiative strategy, and she created an action plan of exactly 2 different types of activities that you should do every single month with your group of top 50. So that instead of wondering what should I do next, you can just launch it. Let me answer a couple. I'll go to your questions in just a minute, and then I'll go through and answer as many questions as I can, okay? Several of you have questions. So here are the touches for your top 50. Number 1, start a Facebook page with your top 50 page. That's your first group. Activity 2, post pictures, resources, announce events, things that are going. Call each and ask them to look for an invite to join the group, and then build for the upcoming event. Now, let's start doing our months. So activity number 2, here's your step 2 of it. Now we get into January. This is your initial call. February, Valentine promotion. March, we're going to do SOI referral partners, strategic partners for a phone interview to secure a resume, to secure your 910s. We'll talk about what that is maybe on another call. In April, we're going to do a call and offer an ID theft review so that we make sure that they're protected with their identification, so that they have, you know, as lender partners, contact a realtor partners to add value to offer to your thing. It's tax time. And so, you know, a tax time ID theft is really high. So what are we doing to protect ourselves? Another activity might be providing a free report, no obligation process. May is your spring breakfast club or a lunch date where we say, hey, we're getting our top 50 together for breakfast. We're going to meet here. It's casual. It's Dutch. Everybody come and hang out. Let's start interacting with each other. In June, we do a summer kickoff. In July, we do a flag plant in their lawn. Or if they're a condo, we do something a little bit different. We schedule a pet parade. In August, we do Dog Days of Summer. We include a call to action on getting ready for school. In September, we do a client appreciation event, which is for all of our clients, and a special VIP early thing for appetizers and wine with our top 50. Or we schedule something, and by the way, your lenders and your other partners will all kick in on this. We do a great job of building for events. I'm going to show you some of the resources there. Then we do Halloween events. One of my teams in Texas does they call it booing, where they create Halloween candy, little baskets, and they go around and they deliver it to their top 50. And they say, take a picture of this and post it on social media, and you're entered into a drawing to win a big prize. And they put a little sign in the yard that says, I've been booed by the Christy Buck team. They do the same thing around Easter egging. They call it egging. I've been egged by the Christy Buck team. And so they have all of these things and activities around their sphere of influence in their top 50 that elevate those clients to have more touches. You see, the goal of 8651 is to stay at the front of the mind of your most valuable resource, so that when real estate comes up, they think of you first. It's not that you're selling them anything, it's that you're selling yourself, and you're selling the concept that there's nobody on the planet that's going to do a better job staying in touch with your referrals than I will. In November, we do a Pi Day. In December, we do a charity event or a community event, and then we've got a whole bunch of other options that we've set up to be able to execute that. So that's your calendar of activities of what I want you to do with your 50 people. Now, with multiple tracking, with multiple clients, we've proven that of your 50 clients, 30 of them will give you referrals. And the people that give you one referral will give you more than one. They'll probably give you 4 or 5. And you're not going to convert all of them, but you're going to convert a good percent of them because they're referrals. So what happens with your 50 people is you end up getting a lot more than 80 referrals, but you only close 86 transactions as a result of it. That's our record. So we want to show that you can close 86. But what if Virl is full of crap? What if, like, my numbers are wrong and they're wrong by 50%? What if you did everything I'm asking you to do and you only closed 43? Would that be a problem? What if you only closed 20 additional transactions this year as a result of following the 8651 program? Would that be an issue? Right. So I call it failing up. Meaning that if you take the activity that I'm sharing with you today, you follow the program and you actually do it and you execute on it, and you fail by 50%, you still have a big win. I want you to fail up. I want you to be in an environment, in a world where failure is awesome. That when you tell me what your goals are and I tell you to double them and you fail because you only hit 80%, that's a big win. Instead of hitting your double this year, you hit, 1.5 times your business. That's called failing up. I want you to fail up, and I will high five you all the way to the bank. Now, let's go in and let me show you some of the resources that are available in the training center. So here, by the way, let me give you the landing page real quick. So some of you want to download the ebook. If you go to workmansuccess.com/database, it'll ask you for a quick information exchange. Just go into the database. By the way, what am I doing? What do you think this is? What is a landing page like this for? Anybody know? This is called a double opt-in. Means you're already in my list, meaning you're already one of my clients, or you've already been to a seminar, or you've already engaged in something. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to have a higher level engagement because I see that you're paying attention. And so this takes my database and it qualifies it to the people who are attending events, downloading resources because they're interested in investing time in growing their business. And you become a more valuable person in my list. Does that make sense? So what I'm doing is I'm using technology like my database to refine my list so that the cream rises to the top and gets invited to the important things that we do. And that I don't mess with the 40,000 people that aren't on the call today. So I'm just elevating the list. So you could download this, you can print them out, you can use it. It's got all of the resources that I did. There's also a special link to get a discount on Top Producer as one of our clients. And then also be a link to get into our training center, a place where you can set up a free disc assessment for those of you who are not private clients. I'm gonna say that if you're making 100,000 or more a year, meaning you're making 100 grand, and you want to go to 250, or you want to go to 750, or you want to go to 7 figures, $1 million a year, I'm going to strongly encourage that you sign up for a free business consult, and let's see if we can help you. We have so many clients that are performing at that level. I went into, well, let me show you a couple things. So I'm going to go off and I'm just going to talk to you. Is that okay if I just talk to you guys? I want to just talk to you for a minute. I'm going to share with you some resources. I'm going to show you how the elite think. And so in the AMP program, one of the things that I want to teach you is I want to teach you how to have operational excellence in your business. I didn't build this program to sell it for $99 a month or whatever. Like, matter of fact, I don't even care if any of you buy this. We built it because we're coaching so many teams, and the team leaders hire an administrative assistant. And when they hire that administrative assistant, the team leader is so busy doing the business, they don't have any processes or systems, and so the assistant comes in and they don't know what to do. And the team leader gets frustrated because they're not doing a great job, and the assistant is frustrated because they don't believe they're delivering a great job. And the reason is because we haven't created duplicatable processes or systems in our business. And so we looked at that as an opportunity to help our teams grow. And so we created the training center. There's a program to train buyers agents and listing partners, but this is specifically training your admin to run your business. If you're an individual agent and you do it yourself, then this is designed to train you. So I'm going to go into something really cool. So I'm going to go into the transaction management module, and inside the transaction management module, there's a whole bunch of different sessions in here. So one of the sessions that I want to share with you is the automation of the transaction. One of the biggest challenges we have is not knowing what to do to be able to create a really high-level client experience. And so many of you are great agents that you just do it naturally. You just get up every day and you kick butt, meaning you go out there and you kick butt. But when you ask someone else to do it, you have a hard time communicating what it is you do so well naturally. Does that make sense to anybody? And so how do we communicate that? Well, we have to create a system. And so what we do in this session is we teach action plans. And so we teach you how to create an action plan for everything. So here's Jeff Fernstall out of Minneapolis, who runs a great team, and he's teaching you how to set up an action plan. I like to say that anything we do in our business 3 times or more, I want to have an action plan for it. I want to be able to set it and forget it. I don't want to think about whether or not it's happening correctly. And so we go in and we create what's called workflows. So in this video, we teach you how to take a workflow, put it into your CRM, and set it up so it's automated. But then we take it to the next level where you can click on a link within the video, and we give you the actual workflows for an enormous amount of different things that we do on a regular basis in our business. And this is built in to the training center. And so there's no upsell, you get it. So for example, when you get a new listing, so let's do a new listing. When you get a new listing, we went into the business of people that are listing more than 200 houses a year. And we said, what are all of the things you do for a new listing? We combined them all into a workflow. You can take this workflow and you can put it into Top Producer, Boomtown, Lion Desk, whatever you're using for your CRM. You can take my workflow and we tell you exactly what to do, what the activity is, who's going to do it, and how many days from the list date, expire date, and reminder date I want those activities done. When you start an open house, what does the initiation of the open house task list look like? What does it look like when you want to maintain a listing? What is the workflow when somebody cancels a listing or you cancel or expire a listing? What do we do during the week of an open house? What does that workflow look like? So we created all of the workflows so that you can now launch these in your business. I love this one. When a listing goes under contract, here's the closing plan. This, by the way, this isn't the Top Producer plan. This is the Workman Success high volume real estate team, and it's taking, I call it crowdsourced development. We take all of our best teams, we put them into a room, we look at all of their workflows, we take the best of everybody and we workmanize it and drop it into the action plan. And this is constantly being updated and changed, so you can just turn it on and use it. You don't have to create it from scratch. When a buyer goes under contract, it's a different workflow. And so I have a workflow for everything that you want to duplicate 3 times in your business. And so instead of trying to recreate the wheel, one of my secrets to success as a business leader is to find people doing it better than me and copy them. Think about that. Now watch this. Let's go back into creating operational excellence. One of the things that happens when you engage with Workman Success early on in the process is, let's see. I'm going to go back one, is that, let me go to my welcome to AMP video, is that your coach goes through and they help you understand your role as a team leader with administrative or operational excellence. And then the next piece is really understanding where you are. And so we've created, and I'm really taking you inside, we've created a thing called the AMP Scorecard. And the AMP Scorecard is it's a Google Drive spreadsheet. By the way, this is in the program. It's like if you subscribe to the training center, you get this. The AMP Scorecard is where you go in and you evaluate all of the critical pieces in your business and give it a score. And so we evaluate your CRM. Do you use it on a daily basis? Do you have duplicates? Do you have a top 50 set up? Are you working the A, B, and C lead follow-up? Do you have contacts categorized by contact type? Are we doing property category and lead source? Are we connected to social media? So we have you go in and we score everything you're doing with your CRM. What are you doing with your marketing? What are you doing with lead management? How are you doing with transaction management? What are you doing with business management and accounting? By the way, if I went through and scored your business, how do you think you'd score on most of this stuff? Anybody? You can just type your answers in there. If I went in and I actually did a AMP scorecard and I looked at how you have your transactions set up, how is everything set up in your business, how do you think you'd score? Troy, thank you for F. Somebody said embarrassing. Somebody else says mediocre. Okay, so I want you to know that you're normal, meaning that it's okay. That the fact that you recognize that and you recognize that you wouldn't do very well. So then what happens is we do a first evaluation, and then we go in a quarter and we do a second evaluation, and then we do a third evaluation. And the goal is not to have you be perfect. The goal is to have a score and then constantly focus on doing things a little bit better. And if we focus on progress, not perfection, what happens over time is you look back at your business, and now all of a sudden, when you're in your AMP scorecard, you've got a really high score. Always going to be things we're going to change and update, but you end up with a really high score. And that's in the very first module is the AMP scorecard. The next thing that we do that I think is phenomenal is we help you build an operations manual. How many of you have an operations manual in your business so that if you stopped working today, somebody else could sit in your seat and run your business? I have one hand being raised. Think about that. And so by the way, this is just the AMP program. Good, there's a few that have that. Let me show you the operations manual. We teach you in this series how to create Zoom videos. Like I'm on a Zoom video right now and you're seeing my screenshot. Well, we teach you how to set up your Zoom videos so that you have an operations manual. We give you all of the table of contents, and these are all live links to content that belongs in your operations manual that you go in and write or put a video in on how you want things done in your business. And so when you're done, you've got operational excellence. Katrina, I want to reach out and give you a viral hug because she asked me the most important question that anyone's asked me today, and that is, when am I supposed to do all this? Katrina, the answer to your question is you're not. Your assistant is. And if you don't have an assistant, what happens is you think you're providing a high level of care to your clients and you're really not. You're doing the minimum level of acceptable performance to get paid at the closing, but you're not really providing a high level of service. And so if you don't have an assistant, you are one. And so when are you supposed to do this? Whenever you're not with a client. And so you just get up every day and you start with the first thing and then go to the second thing and then go to the third thing. So give me 30 minutes a day working on your business or delegate it to somebody else. I actually have a virtual assistant company that will take our entire AMP program and completely set it up for your business, and it takes them 30 days. And they're VAs out of the Philippines. And so you can actually hire someone to do it. You can bring someone in internally to do it. You can recognize you're never going to do it and be okay with that and don't cause yourself stress over it. Or you can, or you can just pick a little bit of time and just do it yourself. The key is to recognize that there's another level that you could be performing at. Katrina, I'm going to tell you that an agent making $1 million a year has more free time than you do. Because they've learned the power of leverage. Gene, I love your question. Gene says, how can you provide a personal touch if somebody else is doing all this? I didn't say someone else does it all. I just said someone else does all the administrative stuff. Someone else does all the data entry. Somebody else builds the database. Somebody else sets up the action plan. Somebody else executes on all that. Your job is to do two things. First one is develop your people so they provide a high level of care. And the second thing is develop business. You should be belly to belly with your top 50. You should be the one making the phone calls and talking to them, but your team should be doing everything else. You'll have a greater experience by delegating it than you ever are right now by thinking you're doing a great job doing it yourself, because you're not doing it. So you're just not doing it. You just think you're doing it. But when I show you running a business at this level, you all have this anxiety that happens. It's like, oh, but they love me and they really want me. I'm going to tell you right now, nobody cares about you. They care about their family. They care about their home. They care about the schools they're going to be moving into. They care that they're going to not be in a neighborhood that is rough. They care about a lot of things, but they don't care about you. You think they care about you because that's what you tell them. But the truth is, what they care about is they care about having it be a difference. And I love that you're saying this on here. And so Ann says, Verl is right. Verl is right. Delegating is hard, isn't it, Ann? Delegating is tough. But when you learn to delegate and you create leverage, it's life-changing. It's life-altering. Okay, so I totally got distracted. I wanted to go from 8651 to understanding that there's a solution. And look, you don't need a coach. You don't have to spend, to coach with us, you'll spend a couple $1,000s initially to set up, and then you'll spend between $850 a month all the way up to $2,150 a month. You don't have to do any of that. You can go in and you can get into my training center for $99 a month, and that gives you a good basis for what we're going to teach you in coaching. And if you do a good job of executing these tools that are in here, you'll get to a place financially where it makes sense to get a private coach. So you can get engaged at any level. If you don't have $99 a month and you just want some help, then here's what I want you to do. I want you to have a perfect level of execution of 8651. I want you to go through and do just this. I'm going to go back to my little sheet right here. Sorry, there's a little workflow in here I want to show you. It's coming. Here it is. By the way, how much is it going to cost you to do this? Set up your top 50, call them once a month, or meet with them face to face. What's the cost? Zero. It's zero cost. All you have to do is invest. There's two investments. I like to tell my coaches when they come into Salt Lake for coach training, I always say there's two investments. The first investment is money that our clients spend with us, and so they spend money to get in and get into coaching. And I said, in order for us to honor their first investment, the financial investment, we have to get them to commit to make the second investment. And the second investment is the time it takes to execute. And so it doesn't cost you any money to do 8651. You can close 86 transactions a year working with 50 people 1 hour a day, and all you need is your phone. All you have to do is personal touches. All you have to do is execute the program. Download the ebook for free, and then make the commitment to give me 1 hour a day focused on your top 50. And prove to me in a year that it doesn't work. How many of you are willing to commit to do the 8651 for 1 year? There we go. Now the hands are going up. I love it. Love the energy on this call, by the way. This is one of the most interactive webinars I have ever done. And I want you to know that I recognize your energy. I recognize your enthusiasm around the program. And I love that you're here. And it makes me want to be better at delivering great content for you. And so I hope you find this to be valuable today. Gene says, same principle as an athlete in training. Do the drills every day. You get the results on the field. I know how important it is, but I've tried that once in the past, and I couldn't afford your coaching. Okay, so you understand that I don't want you to spend the money on the coaching. I want you to do the free stuff. If it's financial, I never want to put you in a place financially where you can't afford to be with me. I want to get you to a place financially where you make your decisions, not because of the money, but because it makes sense. And so just do the 8651. And so from a price range, like I don't even care if any of you sign up for coaching. I want you when you're ready. Like we have more leads and more people doing consults than I have the number of coaches that can deliver it. And so our approach to coaching is, if it makes sense and it's a good fit, let's go. And if it's not, it's totally fine. We'll stay in touch with you until it makes sense for everybody. And so don't worry about it. There's no hard sales pitch from us as a company. It's just not who we are. All right, so let me go through it and let me answer any questions that we have. Judy, thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here and psyched up. We talked about that. I love that your broker is providing the training center to you. I think that is great. Thank you, Allison, for your notes. The program's been using for about 3 months. I can say I've already seen growth in our business, and we're having better systems in place. It's a work in progress. We're so happy we're on board. So I love that, Tricia. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for the wake-up call. Same principle as athlete and training. We talked about that. I'm looking for questions. I know it's important. Okay, we talked about that. All right, let's keep going. It says, how can you afford all of that if the production is so low you can barely survive on it? My answer is, make your list of top 50, talk to them every month, knock on their door and go see them, say hello, okay? If you can afford it. If your business is that low, you're not that busy. So stop pretending and doing fake work and get out there and do the activities that generate results. Stop faking it with your family when you leave the home and go to the office and pretend like you're getting busy. What I want you to do is, I want you to work your top 50. And if you don't have 50 people, then your day should be spent developing relationships. Go to networking groups, volunteer, do things that put you in a place where you can interact with a lot of people. Okay? All right, we dealt with the personal touch if you're outsourcing it. All right, good questions. All right, I think I've answered almost everybody's questions. Okay, so Rosanna, so here's the key. Rosanna says, if I buy the $99 a month and I get the AMP program, by the way, you get the listing training, the buyer agent training, and the AMP. Does it work with other programs besides Top Producer? My answer is, it doesn't matter what CRM you use. We teach it in Top Producer. You just adapt it to setting up the same workflow. I give you the workflow in a Google Drive spreadsheet. You can put it into Chime, or you can put it into LionDesk, or you can put it into whatever. So I don't care what you're using as a CRM. It doesn't matter. We just had to pick one, and because most people use Top Producer, that's the one we chose. So it doesn't really matter. All right, great stuff. Let me bring up my slide on the screen one more time so that you can see. Let me bring up my slide one more time. So you see that you see the landing page. Everybody, can I just say thank you? I love this group. I love that you're here. I love the opportunity that I have to share something with you that will make a difference in your business, in your life. And I want to say thank you for letting me do what I love. And I just want you to know that we're here to help you. Whether you're a coaching client or you just want some help, reach out to us. We'll help you. And if there's something special you need, ask me for it. And there's a high likelihood that we're just going to give it to you. Go to workmansuccess.com and hit /database. Go in and download the ebook. But most importantly, if you really want to go to the next stratosphere, click on the button that says schedule a free business consult. Talk to Ryan or Jay or Nate and let them take you through what it looks like to work with us. And let's have some fun working together in the future, everybody. Thanks for being on the call today. Have a great rest of your month. And I hope to see you soon at an event in live and in person. Make sure you come up and say hi to me. Bye, everybody.